Hey, yo, it's Dominic D'Angelo. It's Rumor and Innuendo. It's a Monday. I'm by myself for right now. Well, we're waiting to hear from Robert. We'll see what happens. But it is quite the snowstorm, as everybody is well aware. Holy cats. I had to work yesterday at Whole Foods, and they closed early, surprisingly enough. And I had to walk back in that monstrosity. Quite the experience. But let's say hi to some folks in the chat here. And get the week started. Triple E says, "Was up? When did Pretty Deadly break up, and why did Cody tell Jacob you never been in a title shot? Didn't Jacob Fatu win the U.S. title? Yeah, he did, but I mean, he's meaning the world title. And then on top of, when it comes to Pretty Deadly, Kit Wilson, what's the other gentleman's name? Part of it, he got really badly injured, and so I don't know how long he's out for. If he's set to return at all. I hope all is okay with him because they were a fun tandem. But yeah, so that's why Kit Wilson is on his own right now. Jeff Henninger. Hello, RNI. Wow, Robert and Dom. Can't believe your boss made you guys come into work today, too. I know. Holy smokes. It's what happens when you got the remote gigs going on, right? Jeez Louise. Cami Star agrees with me and says too much snow. There is a lot of snow. I do want to go out after this and see if the gym is open and maybe a coffee shop. I know there is one coffee shop open in Pittsburgh, like on my way to the gym. I know for a fact they are because they made the announcement before, but I'll venture. I have not ventured out yet today, but I plan to after this. So pray for me. Dre Owens says, "Hello, RNI. With Sammy winning, will he finally win big and get the title? Also, where did Swerve versus Andrade come from for Dynamite this week? Who knows? Who knows? Look, I did not get to catch Collision as badly as I wanted to because I wanted to watch Billy Gunn. And I saw a little highlight of Billy Gunn hitting the Faymaster on Kyle Fletcher, and then Kyle Fletcher kicking out. And I'm like, what? He can't kick out of the Faymaster. That's egregious. Egregious. I don't care who you are. But I will say this. From what I see on the peripherals of Collision, it seems like a better ran show than Dynamite. Am I wrong on that? To people that watch Collision, it seems like there's more of the WWE component where it's like you get that mix of what I was talking about last week when it comes to AEW that you normally we should be getting. They should be paying attention to backstage segments, promos, characters, and there's matches there too. But it seems like Collision is a much better ran show. If people that watch Collision, if there's anybody out there watching, I'm not being facetious if there really is. Tell me what you think of Collision. Is it a good show? Is it differently ran than Dynamite? Wrestling Old Head also joins us. He says, "Good day. Hope all is staying warm and still has power. Is this the final week in the career of AJ Styles? That is the question that remains, right? Right. We'll talk about all that in a little bit." Tony Gonk says, "My car is more buried than Nexus." Oh, man. And Dre Owens adds, "Feels like Glacier's debut outside. Ooh, equally cold, right?" Jeff Hanger just chimes in. "The answers to all AW questions of to who, what, when, where, how, and why is it happen on Collision." That is it, right? If you don't know the answer, it probably happened on Collision. That's probably what went down. Okay. Where do I want to start today? I guess let's start with Saturday night's main event. Yes, Sami Zayn is your number one contender. I will say, when we were talking about the recap on Friday of what may happen on Dynamite, we were running out of time, or what was going to happen on Saturday night's main event, we were running out of time. And so Robert gave his piece. If there was more time, I was going to make the case that Sami was going to win this, and then we're going to get him at Royal Rumble for Gunther because there are several reasons. Number one, they were in Montreal, and then number two, like they're trying to do that feel-good story with him in Saudi Arabia, right? So having him in a title match against Gunther makes a lot of sense. Now, what do they do with it? I think it's just that fill-in spot for him. So he'll get this big match in front of a huge crowd, world title match, and it'll be a great match. But Razor just knocked over paper towels. But ultimately, Gunther's going to win. You got to have Gunther win, right? You can't have him just lose That's not Gunther. What am I saying? Why am I saying it's Gunther? It's geez, oh man, my God, Drew McIntyre. So there is a possibility Sammy wins. There's a possibility Sammy wins. You could tell a story that way. And I mean, if Cody wins a Rumble 3 times, he's a heel. Are they going to turn Cody heel? So you could have a heel Cody going up against a babyface Sammy, and that would be kind of fun, right? And then Cody wins that title, and you got a heel champion in Cody Rhodes. Interesting. Ooh, Razor's feeling his oats right now. He's all over the place. But so yeah, why was it? I can't believe I thought Gunther. I was just so I don't know. I keep thinking Gunther still is the world champ. Where am I at? No, it's CM Punk, you big clown, Dominic. But yeah, so I think there could be some intrigue with Sammy, right? Winning the Rumble. Not winning the Rumble, but winning his match at the Rumble and becoming a new champ. Because I mean, like, I think Drew's good, but like it just seems like I don't know how long term that is. And is Sammy? I think there's a possibility Sammy could win, but at the same time, too, like, is that title going to switch hands at Elimination Chamber ultimately? Will Drew retain? And then, I don't know. It seems like a good spot for Sammy, but ultimately it feels like that Kevin Owens spot that we get in with the Royal Rumble and stuff. Dre Owens follows up. Oh, and so does Tony Gong. So we're getting some answers about Collision. Tony Gong says, Collision's okay. It feels like they're trying to improve the show. Okay. Is it better than Dynamite, though? Like, is it a better structured show than Dynamite? That's my question, I guess. And then Dre Owens says, Collision has its decent in-ring performances. Feels like more wrestling than story. Oh, interesting. So just kind of what I was getting from seeing stuff online and social media is that there seemed to be more of a focus on promos. So I was kind of optimistic that, hey, maybe this is just a better show and I'm just not watching it. But okay, so Sammy wins. Trick Williams, thought it was a great performance by him in particular. Not specifically in ring, like there was some fine stuff, I think, but it's like a rest from a persona and a rising star standpoint. It was a great performance for him. And so I thought that was another big standout for that match. Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that match. Shinsuke still has that electricity with the crowd, which is great. His theme music is awesome. Like, it makes me bummed. And it's kind of wild to think that, yes, AJ's been there 10 years, but so has Shinsuke. Isn't that crazy to think that both those guys have been in WWE for 10 years? 10 years was 2 years from, like, if you factor in 1996 to 98. 10 years now does not, I mean, it's a long time. It's a decade. So being in it with a wrestling company for a decade's impressive, crazy. And so Shinsuke, I look back at Shinsuke's 10 years here and I'm like, man, I want more. I wanted more. I wanted him to have a good world title run. There could have been so much more that they did with him, and they necessarily didn't do. And, I think a lot of that onus goes on to Vince McMahon on that, of the misuse of Shinsuke Nakamura. I think there could have been a lot of fun stuff you could have had him do that really elevated him to a main event level star. Yeah. Okay, so chiming in here with the Dynamite discourse. Personally, I think Dynamite is better. Collision, I think, is having less throwaway matches lately. Okay. I mean, if I'm really parsing through the tea leaves here, there's a lot of throwaway matches on Dynamite. They're good. They're with names, but like, if I look at it and watch it from a match and think about the long-term ramifications, nothing really feels impactful. Like, it's not gonna, oh man, I'll remember that, how fun this Orange Cassidy Adam Cole match was, but what's the ramifications of that? What's the after effects? So it's like, it all, like, they're great matches. Do not get me wrong, they're great matches, but do they really, like, have longevity? And Wrestling Old Head also adds in, I agree, Dom. It's that information superhighway effect. Everything moves faster. It is crazy. It's just really, really wild. Like Kofi, how long has Kofi Kingston been in WWE? I always use him as like the the barometer, or I guess is it the barometer? I guess maybe it is for that kind of stuff. And it's just like he's been there forever, and like great for him. But it's just like wow. It's just like I look back at somebody like Scott Hall, and what Scott Hall was in WWE from 1992 to 1996, 4 years, crazy. And it was the tail end of 92. So it was more like 3 years that Razor was in WWE. And like, it's just wild. And not to, I mean, maybe this is just me because I was a kid, but yeah, it's got to be just me because I was a kid and that was the generation I grew up. But it was just like, that felt more impactful than, 10 years of somebody, pick your wrestler. And it, it doesn't, like, the moments don't feel as significant. I'm curious too what a fan of like a Kofi Kingston or even maybe like a John Cena, like how their fandom progressed or changed over the years. Because I mean, like those guys just stayed there forever. Like, how does that shift for you if you're that type of fan? I hope that makes sense. Yes, Jeff Henninger might have the comment of the day. It's Jamaican me crazy thinking how long Kofi has been in WWE. Swayze. Is this Patrick's son? The Miz was in WWE longer than Kofi. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I That is crazy stat, as Tony Gong just says. That's a crazy stat, like finding out Kurt Angle was in TNA longer than WWE. That's crazy too. That is a little bonkers. Any other takeaways I had? Tag title match, unexpected. Thought maybe they'd go, instead of Rio. That's just crazy that they call her that. That's got to be just like, hey, we don't care. AEW, we're calling our tag team Rio, even though you have a wrestler named Rio. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, like maybe this will tell about just the Judgment Day fracturing even further. Like Robert had the case, and I thought his case was great. Was that you get everybody else winning the championships, and then except Finn, and then Finn gets booted out of the Judgment Day, and then you got a new Judgment Day, or something else going on with those. But like the way this seems is this could just be a fracturing of everybody. They lose, they're not getting there. Maybe Raquel wins hers. There could be animosity all apart, and then the Judgment Day just implodes. So it'll be interesting. I think we'll likely see Raquel and Liv Morgan maybe go at it a little bit. Let's see. I'm just looking at your comments here. I didn't catch SmackDown, so I did not know what was said, but Miz dropped a quality Home Alone quote backstage with Carmelo Hayes. Dre Owens, if Finn is removed, you replace him in Judgment Day. Depends on what you want to do with Judgment Day. I think you could potentially have more legs with Judgment Day because look how long that faction has lived in the different iterations of it, from Edge leaving to Damian Priest and Rhea, and like so in the elevation of Dom. So I mean, I think there's potential if you really wanted to. I think you would need to get a new leader. And I know the Judgment Day has not really had a leader in a lot of ways, but I think there was the two prominent heads were Rhea and Damian. So once they left, Finn was there, and Finn always kind of felt like he was a huge part of it too as well. But I think you would need a new somebody like to take over, basically. Maybe just have Judgment Day be a female faction. I don't know. You could. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. And Swayze kind of adds to that too. I think Judgment Day should be all female faction with Dom doing his own thing. Do you mean own thing in Judgment Day, or like he's still part of it, but quote unquote it's an all female faction because it's Liv and Roxanne and Raquel? Okay, so the Miz said You're what the French call les incompetents to mellow. That's pretty funny. The Judgment Babes. All right. Um. So yeah, Saturday Night's main event was fine. I'm bummed. Like they didn't have the classic Saturday Night's main event music. Uh, WWE for the production value and the aesthetic and like the really top notch, production work that they have. I always get disappointed with some of the music choices that they have. Not always, because I like Aerosmith back in the saddle for that WrestleMania promo, and I just think that they don't utilize music to their most potential right now, and that's theme music, that's promotional event music, that's everything. I think if there was one kind of like criticism I could give to WWE and constructive, obviously, is get better music going overall. Have somebody really, really get into the weeds and create some good, significant moments because music adds to the moment. So if you have a PLE that's coming up or you have a new wrestler that's debuting, it elevates everything. It adds to it. Look at what Heyman did with ECW, and he went off the grid obviously by not adhering to the copyright laws and what have you. And good on him. I think that's great. Like to kind of just go against the grain and do that as long as you can until it's not legal for you to do anymore. And like it created this underground edginess to it, and like elevated that product. I think music always elevates things, and obviously it really elevates things in pro wrestling. We for how many years now we've talked about that the My Way with Limp Bizkit in the promo with Austin and Rock at WrestleMania 17. That still gets parodied and still gets talked about, and it's one of the best wrestling builds that video packages that anybody can imagine. And that's in great deal to the music. So I have this is across the board. AEW needs to do it too. Like all of wrestling really needs to embrace music more and do what, obviously you can't spend, hand over fist over like copyrighted music and stuff like that, but definitely you need like a Jim Johnston going on in there. So there's my speech on music for the day. I agree. Says Wrestling Hood. One of the reasons why I love ECW, Natural Bone Killers, Man in the Box, Enter Sandman, all added an experience. Yeah, absolutely. Swayze says the music is the main thing with presentation. It's one of the bad things about the Rumble. It messes up the pop because people don't recognize the music. 100%. You had these even in the Attitude Era, you had so many significant theme songs that, like, obviously Glass Breaking. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Car Crash, Kane's, chiming in, RVD. Then you got like Kurt Angle. My gosh, Steve Blackman had amazing music. Steve Blackman's theme was one of my favorites. Ken Shamrock's theme was balling. I absolutely, man, before he was the first Attitude Era star for me was Ken Shamrock. That's not a joke either, because I was WCW, so I was watching NWO and all that stuff. But once WrestleMania started hitting, and I saw, Steve Austin's like feuding with Mike Tyson. This is weird. And then, but who caught my radar? But Ken Shamrock. I freaking love Ken Shamrock. I almost swore. Yeah, Ken Shamrock's the bee's knees. Hey, guess what else is the bee's knees, everybody? Guess what else? That's Blue Chew. Fellas, you already know what time it is. It's time to level up, and Blue Chew's just dropped something crazy. I'm talking next level championship belt, gold-plated energy. Blue Chew Gold is the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. No, no, no. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's selling the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin, for performance. We're taking 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping, mixed with apomorphine and oxytocin to turn up the arousal and connection to your brain and body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves under your tongue and works as little just in 15 minutes. That means you can get it on quicker and stay in the game longer. Elevation without a hesitation. This is peak passion and peak performance in a single tablet. So full ignition in 15 minutes or less. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code RUMOR. That's promo code RUMOR. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Also, we'd like to welcome back Cash App. That is right. Cash App is back with us too. And, what's one money lesson that you've learned earlier, and how are you trying to pass that down to your kids? That's something I always think about is like, man, I wish my parents and my school system did not fail me in the way where they teach you the basics of financial management. You know, Financial management 101. This is what you do when you go live out on your own. This is how you budget yourself and be mindful of where to spend your money, where to keep your money. Obviously, we're kids and you're immature and you're still trying to get the lay of the land of life in general. But like having a financial situation that you can be confident in and kind of know what's going on, it's extremely helpful. But let's talk about Cash App. For all the parents out there with teenagers, we know you're already trying to keep a million different things under control. Cash App is there to help make sure your teens' money and their spending isn't adding to that craziness, man. Yes, absolutely. Cash App is designed to meet teens from ages 13 to 17 where they are, with intuitive educational tools. Available through sponsorship by an eligible parent or guardian, teens can get access and personalized Cash App card that comes with different colors and patterns to fit their style and their ability to instantly access money from family and friends. Cash App makes managing money feel easier and honestly just cooler than other options out there. So the platform that also has tools can also help teens develop a real world financial habits in a space that's safe and easy to navigate. So there you go, right? With your oversight and approval. Your teen is getting their first job. Cash App can get them access to their paychecks up to 2 days early and can help them achieve personal saving goals that they can set for themselves, all within the app. With Cash App, these tools become something they actually want to use because they were designed with them in mind. And get it in early because we're all creatures of habit, right? Finally, no one wants unnecessary or surprises. With Cash App, there are no monthly fees, no minimum balance requirements, and no hidden charges when sending or receiving money. With the Cash App card, you and your teen can bounce and receive 24/7 fraud monitoring. And if something ever feels off, you have the ability to lock their card right from your phone in just one tap. How about that? Skip the stress and give your teen a way to learn the financial responsibility with no hidden fees. Download Cash App and get started today. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code FAMILY10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App bank partners. Prepaid debit card issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Direct deposit and promotion provided by the Cash App, a Block Incorporated brand. Visit Cash App /legal/podcast for full disclosures. I always like reading like the fine print because it makes me sound professional and like, oh, he's in robot mode. But try out the Cash App, everybody. Well, finally, last but not least, we have Mando. And man, I absolutely love Mando. Seriously, it is my favorite deodorant brand I have ever had. I seek it out now that it's in stores, and it's very, very exciting because I love the Mount Fuji. You smell like an adult when you use Mando. Look, I was watching Saturday Night's Main Event, and I just was catching the Cody Rhodes and Fatu brawl like on the outside, and I'm just seeing all these like neck bearded fans, and they're just like standing there watching, like up close and personal with Cody and Fatu, and I'm like, that kid has to stink. He's got to smell. I was like, is he wearing deodorant? I don't think so. I don't think so. So don't be like that. Break the mold of your typical wrestling fan. Some men mask their BO with sense. Mando gets the job done right. Don't mask it, Mando it. Available in retailers near you, or head to shopmando.com because for a limited time, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Yes, use code RUMOR at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. I like saying that one too because they have you spell it out. Big fan of Mando in several ways. Okay. What's next? We got Raw to preview. I will say, let's talk about this here real quick, though. There's been reported creative structure changes in WWE, creative team changes. According to reports from PW Insider, this is courtesy of our friends at SE Scoops, too, as well. They aggregated this. So, according to a report from PW Insider, the company has made some creative adjustments recently with Vice President or Creative Writing Ryan Ward now overseeing the agenda for both Raw and SmackDown. And then the Road Dogg, friend of the show, is now said to be sharing the responsibility of SmackDown with John Swakeda as co-leads on SmackDown, while Alexandria Williams and Jonathan Backstrom have similar roles on the Raw side. So it doesn't seem like too crazy of a really like a shakeup, if you will. I think Raw Dog and this John fellow was co-writers for SmackDown already. So I think the key component to this is that Ryan Ward is the president of creative writing. And so maybe he's just overseeing and making sure there's just a cohesive kind of agenda on both shows that completes the whole WWE brand, if you will. They did note, SE Scoops did note that Alexandria Williams has been working pretty, I guess, greatly involved since CM Punk has returned to the WWE as well. So some things to think about. So maybe some things to take note of. What kind of shifts are we seeing on this road to WrestleMania as we head towards Royal Rumble this week? Which, by the way, Saudi Arabia, we got this bad snowstorm. According to some, I guess it's reports that WWE has a backup plan for the backup plan when it comes to Saudi Arabia. So, but like I think everybody's scheduled to fly out after Monday, after Raw, to Saudi Arabia. How are those flights going to be affected? They don't, from what I was reading on SC Scoops, it doesn't seem like the flights are going to be necessarily affected, but who knows? I mean, geez, this is crazy weather. And, you know, who knows? It's just, I was joking this whole week that it was going to be a light dusting, and everybody's making a big deal, stink about it, because that's what usually happens when snowstorms get promoted earlier on, get hyped up, is they're not as big as they seem. But this one ended up being pretty big. And still continues to be. So we'll see how it all goes. Just everybody stay safe, obviously. Don't be an idiot and try to go to a gym or a coffee shop after you're done doing a streaming wrestling show. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. So don't do that, everybody. Hey, will Raw not be stupid tonight? They're going to be in Toronto, and Braun Breaker's returning from his suspension. Look, he's only been gone for like 2 weeks. Is that it? 2 weeks? Anybody get that Total Recall reference? But it feels significant, right? Like Braun returning feels like kind of a cool deal. Like it's incentive to watch. Because like, yeah, he has been a notable absence from the show. So I think it's a neat thing. When you hype stuff like this and promote it in the right manner and, you know, create a story out of it, somebody getting suspended even for 2 weeks kind of can feel like a big deal, especially if it's a named star. Like imagine if Austin got suspended for quote unquote 2 weeks in the Attitude Era. Boy, you don't want to do that because Austin was your moneymaker, but like it's just like felt like a big deal when he'd return, right? Oh, Austin's coming back. I gotta watch now. So good stuff there. Be interesting to see how they handle it all. This has been interesting how they've handled this. Is the WWE World Tag Team Championship number one contenders? Like they've had, it seemed like it was going to be Alpha Academy, and then we didn't know who was going to be the number one contenders for these championships. But now we have the New Day versus Alpha Academy versus Los Americanos. That's Bravo. That's Rayo. That's the first time I knew those names, like in one sitting. If you asked me to name the Los Americanos, I wouldn't have been able to until right now, until I have the words in front of me. And then we have the American Made. That's Brutus Creed. I almost said Brutus Beefcake. And Julius Creed, the Creed brothers. I love the Creed brothers. They should have been on television this whole time. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Like, Chad Gable gets hurt. These guys don't even get any TV time. And I said way back when Julius Creed, he could be your next kind of Bruno. And like, I want to see him talk more and see how he can handle himself in front of the camera more by himself as an act. But like, I think there's some potential for Julius Creed as a top star. But we'll see. AJ Styles will speak after defeating Shinsuke Nakamura and lead to Gunther. I did want to hat tip Michael Cole for mentioning the aspect that like, hey, everybody here was thinking that AJ Styles is going to have like this year-long farewell, but this could end a Royal Rumble. And I thought that was good for him to do. Like, because like we're all thinking, all the fans are thinking that, oh, AJ announced that he was going to have like a year retirement and it could end at Saudi Arabia. Oh, this is crazy. Like, that's what the fans are thinking. And so I hat tip to Michael Cole for actually saying it. Because like that is what we're thinking. All right. So that's what's on tap for Raw tonight. Let's say what people are talking about here in the chat here. Man, my contact is not doing so high right now. So we're a lot of powerhouse hops chat going on. Oh yeah. So the new Hobbs name. What do I think about it? Royce Keys is the reported name for new Hobbs. For the new powerhouse Hobbs. The new powerhouse Hobbs. Sure. I like Royce as a name. Keys, Hobbs. I guess that works. You can keys open doors. Ooh, see, that's what Wrestling Old Head suggested here. That should be his catchphrase. Keys opens doors. Does he need keys to open doors though? He can knock them down. I don't know. I don't mind it. It's like with anything else. I think it's like whenever you have a kind of a drastic name change such as that, you're not keeping the Hobbs or you're not keeping Powerhouse. You're completely changing his name. Like, so Punishment Martinez, I always liked Punishment Martinez. And I think I'm still partial to Punishment Martinez. That's Damian Priest, if you folks weren't aware. That's what he used to be called in ROH. So to change Powerhouse Hobbs to Royce Keys, I mean, I think he could fit that bill. It's like, I think it's fine. You know, honestly, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what to call him. I maybe would have called him Hobbs, or I don't know. But yeah, I think it's okay. I don't have any qualms. Wrestling World, it's a good character for Hobbs to be a friend or enemy from Jacob Fatu's past, where he was hustling. They have a similar story, and that'd be a banger of a match. Ooh, that would be pretty good. We already know the context of Hobbs, though, outside of wrestling. I mean, they're both. Is Hobbs from Los Angeles or the California Santa Fe? Where's Fatu's from? Like the Santa Fe area, isn't he? Am I wrong on that or something? Where is he from? Powerhouse Keys. That sounds like a Billy. Oh my God. Hey, Billy Mays. It sounds like a Billy Mays product. Powerhouse Keys. Don't lose your keys. They light up like this. Razor. Messing. I have some vermicelli noodles in a package, and he's messing with the package. Royce the 61, the 6'1". Razor. Hold on a second. Razor, come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Don't. All right. Let's see. I'm just trying to look. What about Brick House Show? No, that's not going to work. Brick House Shaw? No. Okay. Whenever I think of Shaw, I think of Jaws. Robert Shaw, the actor Robert Shaw. So that's just me. Okay, so Hobbs is from SoCal and Fatu is from NoCal. See, you could do that. It could be like a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas kind of vibe going on. It's not bad. I think we all know the history of Hobbs, though, right? Like in regards to like where he was and stuff. And like, you could do it. You could do it because Fatu wasn't in AEW. Who cares? I think that'd be cool. They need more of those stories, like even if they're fake. Like the fact that Kane is not Undertaker's brother was neat, but it's his brother on television. They need more of that stuff going on. I want some more like fake relatives and fake friends happening, like fake history between two people. Yeah, I'd be for that. All right. Hey, I guess we'll see how Raw develops tonight. I might. Oh no, I can't do a live show. Rob Van Dam and I might go live tonight at 9 p.m. So stay tuned for that. Just still confirming with him, make sure that time is okay, and that we have that on the docket. But should be interesting. Yeah, we'll go live, talk some news. I'll get his thoughts on a couple of things. Chris Jericho had some thoughts about ageism, and I always think that's fascinating to talk to Rob about. And we'll talk about some other stuff too. And if you guys want to talk about some stuff, join us. Likely at rvdtv.com tonight, 9:15 p.m. typically. And we go live and we answer fan questions on there. And we talk about the news. And sometimes we have guests, like we had Big Vito last week, which was by far one of our funniest shows we ever had. Funniest shows ever. Check it out right now, rvdtv.com. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. And this week I'll be doing more with Studio One Sports. So there'll be some live streams. I'll promote that on here too as we move forward. But thank you all for tuning in. That includes Wrestling Old Head. That includes Dre Owens, Jeff Henninger, Cammy. We got so many other folks in here. We got Kuterer, who also says done it's not Calvin Hobbs. That would have been 2 on the nose. And then Swayze also joining in with us too here. So thank you, everybody. Tony Gong as well. Can't forget Tony Gong or Devin Dowling. Thank you. So hope to see you maybe tonight for RVD. If not, I'll see you tomorrow here on Rumor and Innuendo, where we're on a plethora of channels, including the Podcast East YouTube channel, the Oh You Didn't Know YouTube channel, the Rumor and Innuendo YouTube channel, at Ad Free Shows YouTube channel, also at WD Creative_ish, that's Robert's X account, or at Dominic D'Angelo X account, or at SE Scoops X account. So best of luck in your future endeavors. Stay safe out there. If you brave the elements, wear some warm, and get your powerhouse keys ready with you so you don't get locked out. How's that sound? All right, peace up. 8 Town down.